Today we're comparing two very different types of microphones. We've got this microphone just here, which hopefully you can see, and then we've got this microphone right here. Can you tell the difference between the two microphones just based on the audio? You've probably seen both of these types of microphones, but in this video today, I wanted to talk about which one might be the best for your setup, especially if you film in a studio or at a desk like me. This is generally the two types of mics that you might be looking at, but depending on your setup and your use case and what you prefer, there probably will be one of these mics that will be best for you. So that is what we're going to try and figure out today, and a big thanks to Riverside for partnering with this video. Okay, so before we get into the actual testing and comparison, let me just give you a bit more context. This is a Rode NTG5 shotgun microphone, and then this is a Rode PodMic podcasting or dynamic microphone. Now with each type of mic, there's heaps of variety out there, all sorts of different brands, different price points. Generally, podcasting mics like this range from about $50 up to maybe $500 on the high end, while shotgun mics like this range from maybe $100 on the really low end for basic mini mics that sit on top of your camera, all the way up into the thousands and thousands of dollars. Generally, big budget Hollywood films are often recorded with shotgun mics, but I just want to start out with a sound comparison so you can see what they sound like in a fairly controlled environment like this, like my YouTube studio. And I'll show you how they sound both straight out of the microphone and then with some EQ applied to make them sound a bit better. Here's an audio test. When I'm looking for a new microphone, I look for good aesthetics, I look for good audio, and of course, noise rejection is also really important to me. When I'm looking for a new microphone, I look for good aesthetics, I look for good audio, and of course, noise rejection is also really important to me. When I'm looking for a new microphone, I look for good aesthetics, I look for good audio, and of course, noise rejection is also really important to me. When I'm looking for a new microphone, I look for good aesthetics, I look for good audio, and of course, noise rejection is also really important to me. Now, there's so many things to consider apart from just the audio sound when it comes to these two types of mics. But before we go through all of that, I just want to share a super easy way to record either of these mics in maximum audio quality. And that is by recording with Riverside. Now, if you haven't heard of Riverside before, it's basically an all-in-one platform that lets you record, live stream, edit, and publish all of your content in one place. One of the biggest advantages of using Riverside is that it's all web-based, so you don't need expensive computer hardware to be able to run it and edit your content because it's all done in the cloud, which means you can also take your studio wherever you are in the world. And one of the best parts is that it will capture all of your video and your audio locally onto your computer first before it uploads it to the cloud. So it's not compressing your audio files and making them sound terrible and putting all of that cash you spent on your expensive microphone to waste. On top of that, it's got heaps of really useful tools for editing and content creation that I personally use on a regular basis, including the ability to automatically create short form content from your long form videos, automatic captions, which are honestly a game changer, and the Riverside AI co-creator helps you easily repurpose for multiple platforms in just a few clicks. And like I said, you've got a fully featured recording studio where you can invite multiple guests. You've also got a fully fledged editor where you can really customize your content how you like it. So if you're looking for a really straightforward all-in-one content creation solution, then I recommend checking out Riverside. There's a link down in the description, and if you use the code NICK20, you'll get 20% off any subscription plan. Okay, now that you've heard the difference between the two mics, let me know in the comments, which one do you prefer the sound of? And I think this is often something that comes down to personal preference. Some people prefer the sound of a shotgun mic. Shotgun mics are generally a bit more natural sounding. They sound a bit more true to life. They can sound a little bit more roomy, and those are all characteristics that I personally generally quite like. The podcasting mic, on the other hand, sounds a bit richer, sounds a bit warmer. If you think about that classic podcast sound or radio sound, that's generally the kind of audio you'll get from a podcasting mic. So let's talk about some of the other major differences that will probably affect which microphone is the right one for you. So number one, let's talk a bit about the look of these mics and the aesthetics and placement. So the main thing with a podcasting mic is proximity. You usually need it quite close to your mouth. And so that means that it's always going to be in your shot. Now, some people like that, some people hate it. Personally, I've been okay with it, especially with the PodMic. I think it looks quite good, but I actually kind of prefer not having any mic in my shots. So just recently I've moved full time to pretty much only using my Rode NTG5. And that's just because these can be placed much further back and out of your shot so that you don't see the microphone at all. So generally, if you're watching any type of content and you don't see a mic in the shot, it's probably being recorded with a shotgun mic. So that's definitely a big thing to consider. Next, think about your setup and where you record on a regular basis and what's going to be the most convenient for you. Because one of the biggest things that I always tell people is just make it as easy as possible for yourself to shoot and film content. If you make it too complicated, you're going to give up. So if a podcasting mic is going to be simpler for you, then just go with that. Generally, I would say that podcasting mics are simpler. You can often get these that are USB enabled, so you can plug it straight into your computer without needing any extra equipment. And another huge benefit is you can often get podcast mic arms that you can attach straight to your desk like I've got. And for me, this means that anytime I want to record, I literally just have to fold my mic arm out, hit record, and I'm good to go. There's no extra setup needed. So if you've got a permanent filming location, then I would probably opt for this kind of mic. On the other hand, a shotgun mic is a little bit more involved to set up. And that's particularly because they're often just XLR enabled. Now, XLR is just a type of cable that carries an audio signal. So this means that you usually can't plug these straight into your computer. You need some sort of audio interface in between your computer that will convert the XLR signal into a digital signal that will take it into your computer. Now, this is one extra step and adds complexity. So if you don't have that much experience with audio and you don't want to complicate your setup, then a shotgun mic might not be the option for you. Another thing to consider is how much work each microphone is in post-production. So when you're actually editing your video. Now, by and large, in my experience, they're roughly the same. If you're recording with a podcasting mic, it'll often be recorded as a separate track to your video file. And so you have to sync them up in post. The same is generally true with a shotgun microphone. However, there is the exception that if you've got a portable shotgun mic, the type that is generally designed to sit on top of your camera, this can be plugged directly into your camera and will be recorded with your video file. In that case, it's actually more straightforward because you won't even need to sync any audio and video files together. It'll all be on the one file. Just keep in mind that generally those smaller, more portable types of shotgun mics have lower audio quality and might pick up more background noise than a full-sized professional shotgun mic. But again, that could be the easiest solution, especially if you don't want to do things like syncing video and audio in post. Having all of your video and audio in one file might be the easiest way to go. And that's personally what I did for pretty much my first 2 years of YouTubing. I had a portable shotgun mic on top of my camera, and that just helped to make the whole process a lot easier. The only exception to this is if you're recording directly into Riverside, this automatically syncs your audio and video for you, which makes the whole workflow just that much easier. Now, the last factor to consider, but certainly not the least, is how well each of these microphones rejects background noise. Now, for me, it's been a bit of an issue over the years. I live in a fairly densely populated area, and there's often a lot of construction work going on around my location. And so one of the biggest reasons why I actually moved to a podcasting mic from my old on-camera shotgun mic is that podcasting mics are generally much better at cancelling out extra background noise. That's because, like I said, generally you have to have them a lot closer to your mouth. In that sense, they're less sensitive and won't pick up noises as much that are further away from the mic. So if you're filming somewhere where you can't really control the background noise, then the podcasting mic might be the better way to go. By contrast, the shotgun mic does tend to pick up more background noise. And again, because it's kind of more sensitive, you can have it further back from the camera, which is a good thing because you can keep it out of your shot. But the downside is that if you can't control the background noise, it's probably going to pick some of that up. These are designed to be extremely directional and to reject noise around it that it's not being pointed at. But again, generally their background noise rejection just isn't as good as a dynamic podcasting mic. Okay, so with all of that in mind, which microphone should you buy? I think if you're just getting started or you're early in your content creation journey, then I would probably recommend a USB podcasting microphone just because they're a lot more straightforward to set up and there's less variables to think about like background noise and that type of thing. On the other hand, if you're a creator that is a bit more established and you're wanting to increase your audio quality as well as remove any visible microphones from your videos, then a shotgun microphone might be the way to go, especially if you've got extra bandwidth to be able to manage the little bit of extra work when it comes to setting up and the post-production of a shotgun microphone. That's personally the direction I've gone in. So for my first probably 4 years of content creation, like I pretty much already said, when I first started filming content, I used an on-camera shotgun microphone because this was just the most straightforward and frictionless way of recording my audio. Then a bit later, when I needed to cancel out some background noise, noise, I moved to a podcasting microphone. This has been great and I still use it from time to time. But more recently, I've just been wanting to remove any visible mics from my shot, as well as ideally get a bit higher audio quality. So I've gone with the shotgun mic for now, and that's what I film all of my main A-roll content with. So there you go. I hope that was helpful and helped you decide which direction to go with when it comes to your audio equipment. Let me know in the comments which one you're going to pick. And don't forget to check out Riverside in the description if you want to continue to just improve the efficiency of your workflow, make your life easier. And of course, if you're in the process of upgrading your content creation gear, I've got heaps of videos on all different types of equipment. So you can check out this playlist here for more info.